Okay, and for real?
Uh-oh.
For real. I'm not seeing anything. Hold on. Wait. There it is. There it is. Okay. It's very sensitive. All right. Should we add light?
Maybe.
It's a little dark. A little dark. Up our little schedule here. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to another edition of the MerlinCast. And every time I have OWC Cyborg here, it's kind of unofficially known as Podcast Supreme.
Hey.
So theoretically, one of the more supreme of podcasts. I mean, I don't know what we're going there, but San Diego Comic-Con, man.
Absolutely.
A lot of trailers dropped, some news about some things. So I figured we've got plenty of content for this cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we can just go down. I wanted to start off with this trailer I saw for Snowpiercer. So I guess it's going to be a television show on a TBS. And I believe it's produced by the same people that did Black Mirror.
Okay.
Or is it Orphan Black? I always get those confused. One of those.
One
One of the shows that somebody likes. And you said you've never actually seen Snowpiercer before, the movie?
No.
Okay. Well, Chris Evans is in it.
Okay.
I highly recommend it. Basically, it's a dystopian future where it's a class society, but they're all on a train. So the poor people are in the back, living horribly, and move slowly up. And it's like a whole city, but it's on a train. The people in control. Yeah. It's like the far future. It's an ice wasteland, and all of humanity is like a couple thousand people on a train.
So this train is huge.
It's like a big, epic, awesomely built train that's just sustaining life.
Wow.
Yes. And it's just about like the fight for the people in the back to rise up and defeat
the
people that are running the engine. Yep. A lot of hardcore action. It's pretty dark.
That's an interesting plot.
Yeah, I really liked it. It came out a couple years ago. I thought it was pretty good. Chris Evans was good in it. It was like, I think one of the things I saw of him that wasn't Captain America related.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was cool. And I guess the show is got to be a reboot or something, expanding, but on the idea, but in a show form.
Mm.
But yeah, man, I highly recommend you check out the movie and maybe you'll be interested in the show.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I thought
once
the
get familiar, I might be interested.
Yeah,
in
I thought
the TV show.
Movie was really good, but regardless, I think the show looked good. Jennifer Connelly's in it. I think she's like the villain.
Okay.
Maybe. So that's good. All right. Now we're going to move into some stuff that I think we both know about to some extent. First off, I was pretty excited about the Picard trailer. There was a little teaser that was dropped a little while ago. It was just him in the winery. Okay. That was it. Some voiceover. But now we get, obviously, Patrick Stewart's back.
Yeah.
He's, I guess, been retired from Starfleet or whatever. And there's some young woman that needs his help, some girl. And there's hints of Romulans. There's the Borg. We got some classic people. 7 of 9s there. And Data's back, or B4,
right.
The second model probably. And I've heard that apparently Riker and Deanna Troi are coming back too.
Really?
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of, and possibly more people from Trek. It's not just Next Gen that are coming in here. So I don't. It looks like a cool blending to me of classic Next Gen uniforms and stuff, but kind of molded with more of the Abrams action.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's a molding of the two worlds. And I know you're kind of I'm actually not entirely sure what is your experience with Trek exactly, because I feel like you know who 7 of 9 was, so you know stuff.
I wouldn't say I'm a Trekkie.
Okay.
But I'm familiar. I'll say that.
Okay.
I grew up watching Next Generation, but that's because but it was here and there. Like,
okay.
My cousin, he loved it.
Oh, really?
So he would always watch it, and I would watch it because I recognized LeVar Burton from Rainbow.
Really?
Because I was a kid, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So here and there, so when I was in the house and it was on, I would watch it. And it seems to me that's the theme for every iteration. Like I'm familiar enough to know characters, but story arcs and stuff like that, I may not be
Okay.
Like I know about the Borg. I know who people are, but I don't know the intricacies of the saga, if you will.
So I would say, would you describe yourself as being kind of like a casual Star Trek fan?
I would say that.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
And I've seen all the Abrams movies. I'll say that.
Okay.
And maybe the first two uh, movies before the Abrams era.
Okay. That's like what? Motion picture Wrath of Khan?
Yeah, I
Like-
saw Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
Um,
Because there's 6 original series movies and there's 4 next gens.
okay, so the first two in the original. I'd say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool, man. Well, feel free to check them out some other time. And I'm a pretty big Star Trek fan, so I was pretty cool. So you watched a little bit of Voyager too, so you knew what 7 and 9 was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, all right.
Like their bodysuit.
It's just I think that was kind of one of the big draws for that
Yeah.
show. Really did kind of. But in all seriousness, besides that, her character did elevate some things. Wow, it elevated multiple things. Okay, we're on the
I
rails.
wasn't even thinking.
Whoops, bodysuit. Okay. Anyway, as a casual Trek fan, what are your feelings on the trailer? Like, how do you feel about it?
I actually think it looked good. It
Mhm.
looked great. Like for somebody like for me who's a casual fan, and I could still get engaged with the trailer, and I knew people like Picard, of course, 7 of 9, and I was like, oh okay, just seeing them like they're gonna introduce other characters, nostalgic,
Mhm.
and bring in some newer ones, and which is cool. So if I'm intrigued, I know like the diehard Trekkies are probably losing their mind because
I'm sure.
I know Picard and Kirk. It's like, are you team Picard or you team Kirk? I know that too. So
Yeah, that's one of the big debates.
that's the thing. Yeah. So a Picard show, I know the Trekkies are going wild right now.
They are, and I'll be honest. That's a tough one, and I always respect other people. I'm kind of Team Kirk because my dad was a big Star Trek fan of the original show, so it's
yeah.
like I grew up watching the old campy stuff. So
Right.
I love that. But of course, Next Gen's great too.
And I feel like that even though you may have your preference, they still like the other. Like you said, you're Team Kirk. I know you still like Picard.
Yeah,
And vice versa. I'm pretty sure people are Team Picard. They still like Kirk.
I can't say that I love all the shows. I mean, there's some bad episodes. But I always say this. There, you know how you're kind of like a staunch defender of the DC movies, no matter how bad they get. There are bad Star Trek movies and bad Star Trek episodes, but I kind of love all Star Trek. Like all the Star Trek movies, I love them all, even some that are really bad. I have kind of like a special place in my heart for them.
I even watched a few episodes. Now I couldn't tell you what happened, but I just not watched them. Of Enterprise with Scott Bakula because I like Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula, Enterprise. Well, I don't know. Discovery might be more contentious now, but Enterprise was kind of like the most hated of the shows for a while.
It didn't last long at all.
no, but it did get better. I think there were some good things in Enterprise too. Did you watch any of DS9? With
a little bit
with Cisco.
Yes,
Avery Brooks.
I did a little bit
because
I liked him as a captain as well.
To be honest, I think if you ever want to try and get more hardcore into Trek, that's probably my favorite. I think that's the best written show.
Best overall.
That's
interesting.
That's probably kind of controversial, but that one's not as popular as Next Gen or the original series, maybe even Voyager.
Those are like the big three in people's eyes.
True, but I think if you look at like the writing of DS9, it's probably the best because DS9 is the only show to have like continuous season-long story arcs.
Okay.
It required a lot of commitment back in the day.
Okay,
so if you missed an episode, you might be confused. Yeah. But it's gotten more of a appreciation in recent years. DS9 is really good.
As opposed to the problem of the week.
Like even Next Gen, I love Next Gen, but I don't think that I like long form storytelling, and DS9 was one of the first shows to really do that. So I think it's very ahead of its time. But
I have to go back and dive in.
As you can tell, we're sticking up Picard a little. I have one more question, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. How did you feel about Brent Spiner's face? Because people have to nitpick, and I don't want to be that guy, but I know he's, the CG makeup. It's obviously him. It's cool.
Yeah.
But the cheeks a little.
They did look a little like they
A little
were
puffy,
pushed.
like
Like
something.
it did look a little.
Huh?
But I tell you what, we didn't have this on the list, but I'm just gonna say this: it looked better than the Cats trailer. Cats CGI is terrible.
When I was going down the list, I skipped over that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care, but did it look really bad?
Nah, you don't see it. Don't worry about it.
But Andrew Lloyd Webber,
Don't
classic,
do it.
right? No, all right.
And it has a lot of great actors in it.
Oh,
And I'm one of those guys who always say, okay, it's the first trailer, the CGI will get better. But that, if people were in an uproar over Will Smith and how he looked in Aladdin initially, he looked great compared to the faces on the Cats.
you know, it's kind of one of those things. You know, there must be a push by studios releasing a trailer before it's fully done.
Yeah,
Not a good idea.
it's not.
It's not.
So I will say that. I
So-
think it looked better than the Cats.
All right. So,
So-
I think it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, I might pay for CBS All Access to not wait, because I've got one friend of mine who he's like kind of trying to get me into Discovery, and you know,
So I thought you were up on Discovery.
no, this is the thing. Look, I saw the first episode with another buddy of mine who's like really he's hardcore Trek, but he hates Discovery from the beginning.
Okay.
So I was kind of turned off by it because the pilot for season 1 of Discovery is really bad. Like, I'm serious. It is. They make you. I'm not gonna turn this to a rant, but they make the main character Michael Burnham into such an unlikable person, and it seems so anti-Starfleet. It's seriously, you're like, why are we following this person?
It doesn't seem like Trek.
It didn't feel like Trek at all. But as it went on, because another friend of mine kind of he bought the show so I could watch it afterwards, and said, okay, if you pay for it, I'll watch it. And I was like,
That's a good friend right there.
he's a good guy, and he's gonna buy it anyway. But it was like, what was it? Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, basically the first season, I was like, well, I'm not totally sold on it, but I think it's okay. And I heard the second season brings a lot of older elements, crossover. Okay. So I'm like, I'll keep giving it a shot. But this is a show that I might actually pay for CBS All Access to see sooner.
Yeah.
If I hear the reviews aren't terrible at first.
Right.
Because I know, I will see it eventually, but I might wait. But because it's Picard, because it's these other characters, and it does look intriguing.
It does.
I might actually pay for it. I might. Yet another streaming service I have to pay for.
I know, right?
I got a bunch, but I was trying not to give them.
Disney Plus is already going to give more money.
Man, that's. I'll get there. Let me know how some of those shows are.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm behind on Westworld, but season 3's trailer came out. You excited?
Actually, I am. I'm intrigued to see. You know, it's funny. It's only been 2 seasons, but after season 1, I was like, okay, where are they going to go with this?
Mm-hmm.
And then they like expounded on it even more.
It's been a while since the second season.
It has. And now I hear that this isn't coming out till 2020. Season 3 isn't coming
really?
out till, yeah. So, I mean, I guess good news, if you're behind, you can catch up before the 3rd season.
You know what? And I keep forgetting too. I have HBO still. I should catch up on the second season.
Yeah, you can.
And I gotta watch. What's the other one I gotta watch? Is the Murder. True Detective.
True Detective.
Yes. I do have to catch up on a couple of things.
Someone who we'll be talking about later.
Correct.
But,
keep watching.
Yeah. But I think from the trailer, it looks like they've expanded it even more. Mm-hmm. Especially with these characters now. Character development. And that's an interesting concept too. Character development within artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. I'll just say that.
Okay.
That's an interesting concept.
It is.
And I'm a fan of the actors and actresses in it. They're great in it. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited, you know. And then, again, it's HBO. I'm an HBO original programming guy. I pretty much will give at least an episode, everything that comes out. Or at least one episode trying. I'm usually hooked.
Do you like Oz? Taking it back. Oz is good.
I do.
Sopranos.
Oz and Sopranos, like all the way. There's probably my first foray into the HBO, because I was young when Oz came. Technically, I shouldn't even been watching it.
Whoops, people! His parents are watching now. Don't rattle.
Don't kill me.
Oz was
pretty intense.
Yeah, actually,
it's intense now, and I'm an adult.
It's kind of a little campy, but it's still intense.
Yeah.
Like what? Like yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, great programming. HBO, they know what they're doing. Even shows that I like that other people may not have that have been canceled and whatnot. Usually upset. But
Yeah.
anywho, Westworld is good. I'm excited.
Cool.
I actually thought that the second season was the way it ended. I thought it was over.
Oh really?
But I guess they had enough ratings. They'll continue anything until the ratings stop.
Except for Game of Thrones. That's another topic. All right, man. Very, very briefly, Rick and Morty.
Yes.
Finally, Gluty.
Yes.
Funny. Not much more to say.
Shout out to I can never remember his name, and I don't want to butcher it. Thor Ragnarok director. He's the voice of Gluty. It was hilarious. And this is another one I kind of appreciate them with the hiatus because I was one of the people who got on the Rick and Morty late.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to catch up with everything and still have time. And they did mention on the panel, I saw a clip on at Comic-Con that they went through all the hurdles initially so that therefore from now on it won't take as long for another season to come out.
Good.
So that's great. They got through everything. Then they made a joke like at this point you'll get season 5 before you get season 4. Like, that's how fast
they're producing it.
Yeah.
I hope they don't overdo it.
That's a good. Yeah, that's another thing. Hopefully not. I hope it doesn't lose
that.
Yeah.
The sharpness it has.
Like to the point of like now, like The Simpsons.
Yeah, I think Rick and Morty. Honestly, the writing in Rick and Morty is so good that I really would be okay if it didn't go on super long. Like I want more, but I kind of agree with people, much like the Firefly argument. I'd rather be wanting more forever than feel like it overstayed its welcome.
Yeah, I'm always one of those ones that feel like if you go out on top and if you have a chance to actually finish the story, do it. But always go out on top. Don't wait until it's the death. As you said, like Game of Thrones. Like, don't. That's worse. To be riding high and then you don't stick the landing is kind of just go out on top.
I agree. Do you think Rick and Morty? Do you think Dan Harmon will end the story, or do you think he'll keep us hanging forever, kind of as a joke? Would that be true, Rick and Morty? Because the weird thing is, I know that the humor, being as dark and meta as it is, we might never get a clear answer. But I also really like these characters and kind of want to see them get somewhere because it is a story. So I don't know.
That is a good point.
Because I'll be honest with you, I think the last season, I thought the darkness they were taking the characters kind of made me a little sad at some point. Yeah. Seriously, like I was like, I want things to get better for these people.
Right.
I do. I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but I was like, I thought that as mean as the early seasons were, the third season was just like almost too mean sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Personally,
not a lot of good things happen to them.
No.
And it's usually Rick's fault, but yeah.
True. Very true. Maybe there's a resolution there at some point. Yeah. Well, taking a left swing back to HBO, his Dark Materials.
Yes.
You didn't know anything about this trailer.
No.
I didn't really know much about it either. I've never seen Golden Compass in full. All I know is that people of the books were like, oh man, love the book. The movie sucked. And now I guess they're turning into an HBO show, and it looks kind of cool to me.
Once again, it's HBO. And it's James McAvoy, so, you know.
And the girl from Logan.
How can you not? You know? And the trailer did look intriguing, and that's someone I never read the books. I'm familiar with Golden Compass as a movie, but I never saw the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I probably, if you hadn't said it, I probably wouldn't have put two and two together. But it looked good. It looked, again, I'm giving it a watch.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
HBO again, I think. Watchmen. Watchmen. I think the trailer looked good.
Yeah.
I was surprised because I thought that this was going to be a prequel but it's actually a
No,
sequel
it's after. It's the world
of
of
Nixon.
Watchmen after the movie, yeah,
Yeah, so
or the graphic novel, if you will.
both
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, I like the whole Rorschach cult
I
thing.
like that.
Very V for Vendetta. I honestly I liked the. I think they had the owls like ship there.
Hmm.
Is Jeremy Irons playing Ozymandias?
Hmm.
Okay,
So I like that.
okay, that's good casting.
Yeah,
Dude, I was just really happy that Doctor Manhattan's going to come back.
that was interesting. I wasn't sure if they were going to do it.
He's probably just going to be hanging out like, oh, look at these humans.
Yeah,
Look at they're just messing up.
I wasn't sure they were going to do it. I think it from the trailer. It showed me what I was looking for, like stuff that you may see from a continuation, but also stuff that's intriguing. Like the other guy with the other weird mask, something like Rorschach, but it looks like a mirror.
Mm,
What is he about?
yeah, yeah.
I'm interested in that. Um, just little stuff like that. So again, it's HBO. I'm watching it. Regina King is in it. I'm a fan of Regina King.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's another one. Jeremy Irons. We said that.
Jeremy
So
Irons.
that was definitely on my radar.
All right. That's kind of how I feel too. I'm once again a little intrigued. I'm curious to see what they'll do with it. Another trailer, Netflix, The Witcher.
Yeah.
I guess what Henry Cavill signed off of DC for because he
Yeah.
wanted to do this movie or show or
So you
whatever.
felt strongly.
And I think we were talking about it. I'm pretty casually familiar with the game too. I got a bunch of friends that are really into it, but the trailer looks cool, looks
Looks good.
generally accurate. And you know what this could mean? If it's good, it could mean a good video game adaptation of something.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
hoping.
I feel like everybody's going for that Game of Thrones quote unquote show.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
A dark fantasy.
yeah, I feel like this is that one for Netflix. But it looked pretty good. The interest level, for me, only
Mhm.
because I'm not familiar with it at all. Henry Cavill's cool, but
I'm pretty much just seeing it for him, to be honest, at this point.
yeah, I feel like that would be a lot unless you're a really big fan of the video game.
Uh,
Or I heard there are books too.
Oh yes, originally based on books. So
Yeah,
video games based on books is pretty unusual.
yeah, I feel like if you're a fan of either, you might
You
be
might
excited.
check it out.
Casual watchers, I don't know. Maybe if you're into that type of fantasy lore type. But for me, and with me, I'm either hit or miss with Netflix shows anyway.
Really?
I'm either on top of it or I'm super
Hmm.
behind.
That's true with all like the Marvel shows. You
Yeah, I am way. And now that I know they're canceled and they're
Doesn't
not
even-
coming back, it's like my motivation is even more.
I still think. Did you watch Daredevil?
I saw the first 2 seasons.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to finish that, but like I don't. I know it's not really gonna have an ending. So
That's my thing.
I'm
Like,
upset now.
so now it's like, why would I even start? I know it's not gonna end. And if they cliffhanger ending, I'm gonna be upset.
I will tell you this. Did you watch Jessica Jones?
But I'll get over it. No, I heard it was good though.
Well, you know what? You could watch Jessica Jones because that did have a definitive ending. I actually finished that,
Okay.
and that wasn't. Actually, I don't know if I really loved the ending, but it had a definitive ending. At least.
Okay.
So that one,
Yeah.
I think at least watch the first season of that because it was good.
Behind on that, but yet I'm up on other shows.
Of the next topic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, because the thing is, I, as you know, am super behind on all the CW shows. I've been slowly watching Flash. I kind of took a break. It's because of season 3, man. With what's his name, freaking Savitar.
Oh yeah.
I lost interest at some point. I need to get back on it, but I'm in season 3.
Telling you, man, you get speedster villain fatigue, don't you?
Well, it's the third one.
Yeah, it's the third straight season with a speedster villain.
It gets old. Flash has so many good villains.
Yeah.
Like, he's the god of speed. I'm like, he's even more boring. The other two at least were kind of interesting. Like they have much more person. Like the first season so far is really good. Probably my favorite. Second season's almost as good. Third season's just like it's okay. And I'm beginning to worry if the quality of the show is going to dip. So that's all I've seen. But you just watched the trailers for The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, and then we'll talk about Batwoman shortly. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts, non-spoilery, about what you're thinking?
From what I seen, Arrow, it didn't. It was just like a homage because this is the final season, so it was like a homage of um, Oliver's journey and everybody in the show in his life, their journey from start to now, most current, and it reminded me of some things. You know what's going to happen. Um, we do know about you don't know because you're not there yet.
I have no idea.
We do know about the latest crossover. What the event is. You might have heard it.
Crisis?
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, there's like, why you always call me there's a crisis? Like,
Yeah.
that sounds like a crisis on Infinite Earths. I know what that is from comics.
So so that's the latest crossover event. So I think it's going to be heavily tied into that, especially the way the most recent season ended. It looked good. So, and I'm in. So I gotta watch the last season. Flash looked good. The villain. Now don't kill me. Don't curse with fire.
Oh no.
I'm not too growing up. I might have said this before, but growing up, I couldn't get the comic books, so I'm not too well versed in the comic books and the villains and stuff.
Okay.
But Dr. Ramsey Rousseau, right? Does that ring a bell or anything?
I know Flash villains pretty well. I don't know who that is.
I don't know if it's a comic villain or somebody I'm missing or something.
Well, one thing that was cool about Flash that I liked is they introduced most of his rogues like in the first season. I mean, classics,
pretty much.
Gorilla Grodd, you got Captain Cold, all those people.
Yeah, and they pretty much they make their appearances throughout.
Yeah.
But this guy, I don't know. Apparently, he's trying to stop death. Does that ring a bell? Anybody try to stop death?
That sort of thing happens in comics all the time. I mean, I know Thanos and Marvel has a thing with death usually, which they kind of talk about in the movies.
That's the only thing I was unclear with. Like, the whole thing is the monologue from the villain guy, who I assume is the villain guy. Once you get there, you'll like him. It's the guy. I forgot his name, but the guy from Heroes, the one that found all the people.
Oh, Mohinder?
Yeah.
He's the villain?
He's the villain.
Oh.
So, I mean, he's cool.
So they got him to do the narration because...
he's doing the monologue and he's saying,
Well, because in Heroes, that was his superpower. Epic narration. Let me tell you the story, the moral of the story for this episode. It was a good show that didn't end very well.
He's doing the general monologue antagonist thing of people think they're fighting for truth and love, but they're really hubris and that that message. And then at the very end, he switches to, I can make it that we never have to experience death again.
No one ever has to die.
And I'm like, exactly. I think he says that.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. So other than that, look good.
So his evil plan is that he wants to stop people from dying.
I guess.
That's an interesting motivation.
Yes.
I mean, I understand there could be, natural ramifications for the balance of things, but it doesn't make him sound like a very bad, I guess, a sympathetic sort of villain.
And if that's his goal, what's his beef with Flash and company then? Because they're not villains, they're not trying to kill people, so
maybe he thinks they're false heroes. It sounds like My Hero Academia that the villain wants to what's his name? Stain wants to stop all the heroes because he doesn't think they're valid. Is that anime? Have you heard of it?
Oh, I've heard. I haven't seen it.
It's a good show. Yeah, they're all just a superhero themed thing, and the one bad guy's whole thing is killing heroes because he thinks they aren't, if they're not worthy because of their powers. Because in that universe, it's like a competition, like a job. They don't really care about saving people, but if he deems you worthy, he'll let you live. Very, very 90s villain. You actually should watch the show. It's not bad. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good.
Speaking of that sounds like The Boys. I'm anxious to watch that.
Very similar.
I've actually been doing my research a little bit on the comics of that. And the comics are making me more excited because even from the trailer, I was like, this seems interesting.
Boys is intense. I only just found out about it actually from a coworker about it, but it does seem pretty fun.
Yeah. So I'm that's a sidebar. I'm looking forward to that. Supergirl seemed kind of like the same thing,
Hmm.
where they did the narration, except this time it's Supergirl talking.
Hmm.
And this one, people are so into their phones and showing everybody on their phone, and the general Flash and Supergirl seem to be pretty similar in terms of style of trailer.
Okay.
Um, but it's going to be interesting to see the way the prior season ended was like a bomb dropped on one of the characters. Being spoiler free,
Huh.
there was a bomb dropped on one of the characters, so we're going to see how that plays out. There may be a shift in motivation for them.
Huh.
We'll see if how far they go, how far they take it, and how that affects the entire group. So I'm interested to see that.
Man, I want to catch up on Supergirl because that first season was a little rough, but
Yeah,
then
yeah,
then it gets a lot better. I gotta when I get caught up with Flash, if I do, I'll try to watch Supergirl next.
yeah.
I don't know if Arrow's gonna happen though for me. Like I just
Too dark, too brooding.
it's Oliver Queen, man. You know he's not quite right.
Yeah,
You know it
yeah.
a little bit.
It's a little off.
That's okay though. I know I'm in the minority on that one. It's all right. But we can talk very briefly about Batwoman because I'll tell you I hated it. I hated it so much. I hated it so much. Okay, like I'm trying to be. Look, I try to be positive. I try to be open minded. That that trailer was corny as hell.
I will say this. I'm caught up on all other DC shows, so I'm pretty much in. So I'm gonna watch it. But I see from your perspective, someone who has not been caught up and are genuinely seeing if you want to catch up at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That trailer probably wouldn't do it for me.
Like I was
honestly.
The first trailer they released, I didn't think was that great anyway.
Right.
But that one is just painful. Like, did you think it was
a fan of Ruby Rose?
I like her. I do like her, but it seems like they're almost trying too hard. I mean, and I don't want to sound hypocritical because I feel like that's something that in Gotham people would do. Like if Batman was cool, people might take up tattoos or something. But the fact that she's walking in there gloating about it, kind of a little
that's weird.
It's a little
that
weird.
Was weird. Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like she's cool. Get it? I don't know. I don't know. It seemed like it was trying a little too hard.
Yeah.
Like it's the edgy teenage crowd. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a hater, but like I'm just like I thought that was so cheesy, even for CW standards. Personally,
it wasn't the best.
Well,
I'd say.
You watch it and you let me know if the trailers are completely wrong and it's the best CW show. And if you tell me that or something close to that, maybe I'll watch it. But it's not on my list of priorities.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
But Dark Crystal, there's a new trailer. I think it's a movie or a show on Netflix. You're not familiar with Dark Crystal?
At all.
Okay. You know who Jim Henson is?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of Labyrinth?
Pants?
The other one with David Bowie?
No.
Wow. Okay. Hey, well, brief history of film here. Jim Henson, best known for Muppet, Sesame Street,
right.
Puppetry, the Puppet Master,
Indeed.
but not with those films. He made two films, one of which was Labyrinth, which is David Bowie, Jennifer Connelly's start.
Wow.
Big, well-known cult movie. Check it out sometime. Dark Crystal was the one he did before that didn't do quite so well.
So Labyrinth did good.
Labyrinth did good. Dark Crystal was one of the ones I think almost like bankrupted him or something.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
But it's like in terms of like puppetry, like everything in there is all animatronic, and so it's visually it's cool. It's just a fantasy thing, and it's just like a classic fantasy. But literally, I recommend those movies just for the visuals. Like if you like Jim Henson and you want to see him do like epic fantasy worlds
stuff outside
of
Muppets
Big Bird and Kermit. You get to
this
see
before or after that?
During. This is like 80s, so it was like in the heyday of.
So it was like beginning. Another side of what he wanted to do.
And I never quite picked up, but yeah. So besides the other stuff he did, obviously he worked with Star Wars puppets and Henson Company work, but yeah, that's one of those. It's kind of a sequel, so I'm kind of curious about it. But yeah, recommend that. The trailer. Can't tell if it's a reboot or a sequel, but check out the trailer sometime. It looks cool,
Okay.
and you might get.
I'm taking it that it's more puppets.
Yeah,
Keeping it puppet?
yeah. There was a brief featurette, and it actually showed like they got. This is one thing I thought was cool, and I'm always kind of interested in like the creative process and people coming together and the history of the filmmaking. And they got some of the people, the original producers and animators and creators,
Wow.
to come back. And one guy was like said something along the lines of, "Man, we're so old now, we forget how we even did it the first time." And it's cool. You see them like they're doing the sketching for the storyboards and putting together the animatronics, and they look so detailed. So it's like a combination of mostly puppetry and in camera practical effects, which I love. I love that, but also a little CGI.
I was gonna say, is there any CG in it at all?
You can tell with some of the movements in the background, but there's a lot of puppets. So
Okay.
I know that for hardcore Jim Henson fans, they're looking forward to this. And the weird thing is, I wouldn't consider myself to be, but I always kind of liked the Dark Crystal,
Right.
just as kind of like a kid's fantasy thing, and it's very unique. Just it's one of those things you see what they could do with puppets and how
Right.
impressive it looked. It was just cool. Anyway, Walking Dead's getting a movie, I guess, to finally wrap it up after over it. I haven't watched it since season 3, so feel free to tell me your feelings. I don't care.
I'm caught up, but I feel like I'm only caught up because I'm in. I'm invested. I'm invested already, so I have to see it through. And you told me that it's just a teaser, and they just say see Rick Grimes
in theaters only.
That just sounds ridiculous.
Do you think it's going to do well? Because I've noticed that whenever they try to do TV shows to film,
It doesn't really.
Because wait a minute, you're going to force me to go into the movies to see this
Right.
thing that I used to watch for free?
Right.
Never seemed to work out.
I don't think it's going to do as well as they think it is, because I think it's again one of the ones on the downward slope.
That one's been limping along for a while.
Yeah, and now, like we said earlier off air, Denai Guerrera, Michonne, she announced it's her last season.
She's over it too.
Yeah, so like all of the major people are either already gone or leaving. Daryl's probably the only one still there.
Daryl?
Yeah.
Well, he's a favorite. Did Carl die finally? Carl.
Spoilers.
I don't care. I don't care.
Spoilers.
I don't care.
If you care, spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Carl.
About 3 seasons
ago.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
No,
I didn't hear about
3
it.
seasons later than people wanted.
Okay.
But yeah, he's gone.
Okay. So Rick is dead, but I guess not really.
I guess not really. I don't know how he.
What if he comes back as a zombie? And that's the
and if that's him coming back, for that reason,
money back.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not risking spending my money for that type of bull.
Oh man, what happened to The Walking Dead, man? I remember that first couple seasons were really good.
Great. I think it got repetitive. Like, a group of people. We're fighting dirty zombies. We find a place. Oh, we're at this place. It's great here.
No, it's not.
Now zombies come. Oh, we have to find another place. Oh, we found another place. Oh, it's great here. Oh, no, it's not. Now we have to leave. And now for the past 3 seasons, it's like, okay, we're at this place. We're staying here. But there are other places, and now they're trying to kill us and zombies. Now I think at this point, you don't even see that many zombies. It's to the point where it's so many other groups and compounds now. That's the basis of the show. Is them fighting and trying to stop the other groups from trying to stop them.
Wow.
And then you'll see a zombie horde every now and again.
But they're not even really a threat anymore.
To remind you, like, oh yeah,
there are zombies in this show.
Zombie in here. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll catch it on DVD. If AMC eventually shows it on AMC, I'll catch it then. I'm not going to the movies and see it.
Oh wow, not getting this guy's money.
No, sorry.
That's all right. Okay. Moving on to a movie that they're still not fooling me. They're not fooling me. But Terminator Dark Fate. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to like it. I really want to like it. And they want me to like it. They do.
Clearly.
Because they paid James Cameron, even though he doesn't need the money. So I have to imagine it's genuine.
Clearly
Does he genuinely believe this? I think he's one of the script writers. I mean, we saw more footage, more feature, and literally, it's mostly just James Cameron on camera
Yeah.
saying it is like Terminator 1 and 2. There's a lot of action. I love
We
it.
got Linda Hamilton and
Look-
Arnold Schwarzenegger back. Come on, guys.
And the director is like, oh man, I love making this movie. It feels like I'm making a Terminator movie. He's like, the director's like saying he loves what he's doing, which is kind of cool. Like, I really want to believe
Yeah.
that it's a coming together as like a good Terminator movie.
I am just the one major thing that I'm weary about is where's John?
Where is John?
That's a huge plot point. Where is John? Sarah's there. Where's her son?
And that seems to be a problem they run into with every movie, is kind of screwing up John Connor somehow.
Yeah.
Like, the more they try
Are they changing the whole prophecy thing?
Alternate timeline again, maybe? Because the whole thing with Terminator is like one timeline that's like always kind of within itself or something.
So that's what has me the most skeptical. I'm like,
no footage of John.
He's not in it. Yeah, he's not in any of these. And the new Terminator girl is protecting a little girl. So who is this little girl now?
And I'm wondering, what if it's a dark fate because somehow Skynet found a way to eliminate John Connor, and so they have to find a way to reset things or find an alternate hope or something.
They didn't know he had a daughter. And she's the actual one who stopped Skynet.
Because everyone's older, so maybe he had a daughter before he died. That's true. That's possible. That's possible. It's just, it already sounds tired. Even
I might wait. I know you're normally quicker on movies than I am, so I'll probably wait until you see it, and then you let me know.
All right, man. But should I see this? Because I saw Terminator Genesis in theaters.
Ooh.
It was so bad. It was so.
That didn't look good in the trailer.
It wasn't good. No, because they showed you what the twist was. John Connor was a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he was part of Skynet. So.
I hate when trailers do that too.
Yeah, that was a big problem. Like, oh, well, that's dumb.
But I will say that though, recently I've been noticing they're starting to get away from that of not showing too much.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it was years where they were doing that, like showing either the twist of the movie or the best part of the movie.
I hated that.
And sometimes the twist was the best part. So
it's true.
But it seems like they've been getting away from that, which is good. But yeah, you'll probably see it before I do.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. If I feel like torturing myself that weekend, I guess we'll see what happens.
It might be a slow movie week. You might.
Believe me, this does not sound appealing. We'll see. We'll see. I still haven't seen the first of the It movies, so I got to catch up to see the second part here. But I read the book, and I really love the book a lot. So I feel like, based upon what I've seen, they're really trying to capture the real frightening elements of the book. So you saw the first part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're excited for this, I bet, right?
I am. I feel like now me having not read the book.
You don't know what happens to them.
I don't know.
You don't know how it turns out.
I
know how it turns out.
I've seen the ABC miniseries back in the 90s.
Okay, so you do know.
Kind of know, but it's ABC, so they had to tone it down a lot. Which I come to find out when the first movie came out the past couple years ago, because there were so many comparisons of the ABC series to the miniseries to the book to the movie, who got what right, what was changed, what was toned down. So that's how I know that the movie is going back to the book, and it was great. Like the first one was great. From what I've seen or read, it was close to the book. And the second one, even from the trailer, it looks like it takes all those elements and magnifies it, amplifies it rather.
Because they're adults, so they have adult fears now.
Yeah. So it looks great. Like even the first teaser trailer was just so creepy with the old lady. She's just walking scurrying across the screen,
Yeah.
naked, just nasty and
and
creepy in the background. Like I feel like it's gonna be stuff like that. Like even it's gonna be like little creepy stuff to build the tension, and then boom, fright.
Yeah.
Like just fright.
Like in all honesty, like I liked Stephen King a lot back in the day. I read a lot of his books,
Mhm.
but it is probably the scariest book because he really taps into like literally it's you're fighting fear itself.
Uh-huh.
So it's pretty tough stuff.
And I will say I kind of get why, because I have read some of his books.
Mm-hmm.
I get why he has such a hate. Well, he said he did like this. He didn't like the ABC one. He liked this one.
He doesn't have a lot of luck with his movies.
I can see why. Because his books are really graphic, really
Detailed.
visceral, if you will.
Yeah.
The movies don't do it justice.
No.
Even The Shining, which was good.
It's also not his. They
Right.
changed so much.
The Shining is a good movie, but compared to the book, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why he has that gripe. But even he liked the first movie.
Okay.
And with the second trailer, you saw it, right?
I did.
The end when Pennywise is talking for 27 years. That is so creepy. The creepiness could be just as scary as the in your face stuff. That stuff is, and then they follow it up with his face and this cut up. Like, yeah, great.
He looks like he's a person.
Yeah,
yeah.
Great trailer. I'm excited.
It looks good. I gotta watch the first part. I gotta. All right, I've got a confession for you, and I want to know your thoughts because this. I don't know if anybody on my channel is gonna care, because we're mostly probably a bunch of geeks and nerds here,
Yeah.
but all right. Top Gun 2, Maverick. I don't like Top Gun that much. I don't really care that much. I never really got the hype of the movie. I think people are really into jets. There's a subcult with that. I know it's a 80s classic. I don't know. So I'm like, and I saw this trailer got a lot of views. People are probably excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's probably gonna be a decent movie. I like Tom Cruise. I'll probably go see the movie, but I don't care about Top Gun at all. So I wonder if this movie's gonna be for me or not. I don't know. How do you feel about Top Gun?
Actually, it's a good assumption. I haven't seen Top Gun recently. I might
have to watch it.
Yeah, I might have to just I think I said this before too. I'm an Easter egg guy.
I feel the need.
Yeah, if they mention something, I would like to catch. So, and it's been years since I've seen it, but stuff like that. I think it was just a sign of the times, like the 80s.
It's a very 80s thing.
Very 80s, like, good-looking people and fast jets and soundtrack. Yeah.
Highway to the
It's like that. Like it's like Days of Thunder in the air.
Or some people might say Days of Thunder is Top Gun on the ground.
See? It's like that
same movie.
Yeah.
Gotta go fast, gotta fast cars.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know. I guess that's a subculture.
Young people living fast.
I think, but that's the appeal, and they're. I mean, but I like, of course, the thing, and it's kind of like we talked about with Creed and with Rambo. Mm-hmm. These actors know they're getting up there, so it's like every film might be the ending of an arc, but it's also meta, kind of like the changing of the time. Like, this could be the last adventure. Right. Like I didn't think there was an audience for Top Gun enough like this, that cult following, I guess. But man, I guess
honestly, I didn't think so either. But I think it's like you said, maybe it's top. There are some Top Gun fans, but there are some Tom Cruise fans.
Top Cruise.
That too.
Because I like Tom Cruise. I think it looks like it just like if I didn't know it was Top Gun, I might be more interested.
I think it seems from the trailer at least, it seems like it's capturing the elements of the original. They showed the little scenes with dudes with the shirt off playing volleyball and all that.
Flashbacks.
Yeah. But they also, it seemed like it's a little more weighted.
Darker.
Yeah.
Grittier.
He is older. and
Yeah.
he's
Not a young man anymore. Not a young pilot.
yeah. So
Got to retire.
and that's another thing, like I was saying about trailers, we really don't know what it's about.
I like that though.
Yeah.
Like that's a good trailer. Like
Yeah.
I'm even though I don't care about Top Gun, I'm intrigued about that movie.
Even though we know we're not watching Top Gun for the plot, but
I'm actually like maybe this has a plot that's going somewhere.
Right.
So I don't know.
We know from what they were saying, an overview maybe that he's an older pilot and his days of the renegade,
they're over, or they're
cowboy.
numbered.
Yeah, they're getting away from that. So, but that may not be the plot at all. That could just be one scene.
Yeah, it could be out of context.
Yeah,
and then the whole movie's just them shooting evil runaway pilots. Though someone did comment, I think in the video, maybe one of the selling points is that I think a lot of the stuff is real stunts with real jets. It's not CGI. So Tom Cruise does his real.
The jet stuff did look awesome.
So
in the cockpit shots and stuff, yeah, I can see Tom doing that
because he likes his real stunts.
Which is cool. I thought the jet shots looked great. They elevated it from, which I would hope they would, but they elevated it from the original.
Stealth.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx.
That movie. That's another good bad movie.
Yes, that's a guilty pleasure right there. Yeah, there are good bad movies. That'll have to be a podcast conversation sometime. Yeah. Speaking of possible good bad movies or good movies, probably actually the trailer I'm most excited for tonight is probably the Jay and Silent Bob one.
I probably had the most fun watching that. The most excitement watching that. So many like
callbacks.
Yeah, callbacks, nostalgia, and it even brought me back to the first Jay and Silent Bob when they did that the first time. Mm-hmm. And you got can't remember his name.
Who would it be? What character?
Brody. He was Brody in Mallrats.
Muse?
No, my name is Earl Face.
My name is Earl. I know his name too. I always know it. I'm going to cheat with the phone. Yeah, it's gosh, what is his name? It's the comic book guy.
They had him in it. Basically everybody in every role that they've been in the Kevin Smith movie.
The View Askew universe.
They had him as Brody and they had him as his character
Jason Lee.
There it is.
Jason Lee.
Jason Alexander kept coming to my head, and I know that's Seinfeld.
That's George Costanza.
Had him in it. You see Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
They're there.
So and it looked like Matt Damon was in his role as the fallen angel
from Dogma. Yeah.
It looked like So now, because now at this point there have been more Kevin Smith movies since the first one. So like Dogma, you can see other characters.
It is the same universe, so maybe there'll be some callbacks to other things.
I was excited, and it was funny, hilarious, hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of jokes about the comic book industry and the movie industry that Kevin will probably bring to the table.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like it's going to parody
his career.
What we talk about all the time.
Yeah, like sequels, prequels, reboots,
comic book movies,
references,
superhero movies,
Easter eggs,
everything.
Podcasts, YouTube video, trailer reactions. The whole pop culture thing. He's probably going to take shots at it, joke about it, because that's kind of what he does.
Yeah.
By the way, I think Kevin Smith is one of the coolest human beings alive.
I am a fan.
He's just he's one of those people that he's creative. He does his own thing. He's an independent filmmaker, and he seems like he didn't really let Hollywood get to him. He's like a normal guy.
Right.
He's very humble, very down to earth. He's like, I like watching the movies like people do too.
Right.
Like I think what was it saying? His one experience, with Cop Out, was so terrible. He's never going to do a big studio movie again or something.
Which I was surprised. I didn't even know he directed that until after I already seen it.
Did you like it? I never saw it.
I liked it.
I think his bigger movies are usually fine. Like Red State is pretty good.
That is. I think what it was, maybe people were put off because I didn't see it in the movies either. I saw it on HBO. Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan. That doesn't really.
It seems like a weird combo.
Yeah, but it actually works. They're both funny, and it worked. Like I enjoyed it.
Huh, okay.
Hey, maybe they might be in it. Well, who knows?
Based upon what his experience was with Bruce Willis, I don't think
Oh,
so.
well, maybe not.
But we'll see. Who knows? These things can happen.
You cannot be a fan of Kevin Smith and the whole universe and not see this movie. Basically,
I'm gonna see it.
It's come on, it's a done deal.
I love his movies.
And if you don't like Kevin, don't see this.
Then why are you?
This is just
a blip on your radar.
Yeah,
exactly. You're either going to see it already, regardless of what the trailer was, or not.
Right.
It's one of those movies.
If I hadn't seen this trailer,
you still
just heard. If you just told me, they're actually doing a Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Like, oh, I'm gonna see that.
Like, what's it called? Jay and Silent Bob. Yep, I'm saying absolutely.
Yeah, that I don't usually think about him. I'm sorry to say when I think of like great directors, but you know what? I love all his movies pretty much.
I do.
He's good. He's consistent.
Even the ones that some are a little weird,
off.
Yeah, they're like, a little aloof.
Tusk was bizarre.
That was really.
But you know what? One of the most unique movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know whether it was supposed to be funny or horrify me.
Yeah, that's.
But it exists.
It exists.
I never thought that would exist. So I hope he makes that Moose movie. I really do.
Right.
I really do.
Right.
Bizarre movies. But yeah, man, you brought this one to my attention. 21 Bridges with Chadwick.
Yeah, this was one that I hadn't heard about. It was just I was searching up
the only
recent trailers.
The only movie on this list not associated with some kind of franchise.
It's just
based
a regular
on a book,
old
a movie, an actual
drama,
movie.
Guys.
So hey, but you know what? I believe it or not, I like other movies.
Right.
A lot of other movies.
I do too.
So this looks like, what is it? That big robbery, and they're trying to shut down the city to get him?
To catch the guy. Apparently, these guys are cop killers.
Oh.
And this, I guess, Chadwick is the lead detective, and he's shutting down New York, Manhattan to be exact.
Manhattan shut down.
And there's 21 bridges that connects to Manhattan in New York, hence the name. So he's shutting it down to find these cop killers. But I guess for the trailer, there's more than meets the eye. And there's a lot of twists and turns.
Optimus Prime's it.
But, yeah.
See, there's a franchise.
But you can connect it because it's Black Panther and produced by the Russo brothers. So,
and also, apparently, what's his name?
J.K. Simmons.
Joey Jonah Jameson's in it. Yeah. So it is a Marvel movie. Adjacent Marvel.
There is a multiverse.
They're all movies it's all connected. So it's just ultimate fan theory.
This is the closest thing you'll get to a superhero.
Outside in a cop drama.
If Black Panther became a police officer.
If he just decided to give up his throne and just, I'm going to be a beat detective in Manhattan, give up my armor, take up a New York accent.
There it is.
Fine.
There it is.
People would watch it. I think it looks good. I feel like these kind of movies were really big in the 90s. Like you saw good old fashioned, like cop drama, thriller.
Like Heat was probably the pinnacle of that
Heat
era.
Just like, another movie that I really like too that nobody talks about is the one with Denzel Washington, The Siege.
Oh yeah,
that movie was really good.
It's good.
There's a lot of really good action cop movies and
another one that hit his and surprisingly Angelina, the Bone Collector. That was
Bone Collector was good. Like I liked all the 90s were big into like the serial killer, like stuff.
Like a lot of those
Silence of the Lambs,
all of the Alex Cross,
Morgan Freeman movies.
They were good.
I like those. Like I like a good thriller. It's like we need more of those. I thought this was a kind of good to see.
That's true. Now that we talk about this, because it seems like all we get is like fantasy and superheroes and
IP and whatnot.
And now everything is a reboot or a continuation or a sequel. We talked about this earlier too. And the reboot and the sequel, like, it's interesting because a colleague of ours, he brought up the new Men in Black, and he was saying how
it was terrible.
It was terrible. And I was telling him, like, I had no interest because
the last couple have been kind of bad.
Yeah, and the only reason that I watched those and the only good parts was with Will Smith. Same thing with Independence Day, because you brought him Independence Day. Terrible. I had no interest to watch that. When they announced that they were doing this,
Ooh.
and then they said Will Smith was not attached. I said, okay, I'm out. You can have it. I'm done.
There's some parts of the formula that just have to stay.
If it's no Will, it's no thrill. You know? These things like that hinged on him, if you take him out of the equation, it's not the same movie. It just doesn't work. Like, and then you think about like Men in Black, the new one is Hemsworth. I get him and his brother mixed up. Thor Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And Tessa Thompson, Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Little reunion. Now they can be comedic.
But are they comedic actors?
No. I don't think they can carry a movie and be funny. Like even in Ragnarok, which is the funniest Thor movie.
Yeah.
He didn't do it by himself.
It's an ensemble.
Yeah, he didn't do it by himself. Mark Ruffalo's funny in it. Hilarious. Jeff Goldblum's hilarious and like Korg hilarious. Like there's more than just him. He can't carry a movie, a comedy movie by itself.
I think you're right.
I saw that and I'm like, comedy is a big element in Men in Black. Yes, action in it, but it's really comedic.
It's very comedic.
Even in Independence Day, which is I would say is more serious than Men in Black.
Sure.
But all of the comedic moments and notes came from Will. Even with I think even parts where he wasn't trying to be that funny, when he punched the alien, Welcome to Earth, that's hilarious.
Welcome to Earth is like the classic line from the best scene in Independence Day. Dragging your ass.
Yeah, and then I was just going to say that. And mumbling.
Come down here.
The alien
I could have been in a barbecue. like there's this alien invasion, the world's alive, and he's just ticked off that it ruined his holiday, and he's just taking it so personally. Like,
absolutely.
Like, why couldn't you just like come down here and be peaceful? I had to ruin my barbecue. And the thing is, not to get too deep into the analysis, but he was actually kind of hopeful. It's like, I don't think they traveled halfway across the universe to come down and pick a fight.
That's true.
Like, and then he's like, oh, man.
Yeah, now we got to do this.
It's like, I kind of could have been in a barbecue with you, man. Why didn't they just have barbecue with us? Why were they like, which, by the way, Independence Day is kind of a campy movie, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I always thought that scene was like one of the scariest. One of the most evil things I think any villain's ever said.
Which one?
When Bill Pullman, the president, is trying to talk to the alien.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is it you want us to do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like,
that's pretty creepy.
No reasoning. Yeah. Just, wow. Wow.
And even I forgot his name. The doctor in the movie.
Brent Spiner.
Who I thought died, but you saw Independence, right?
That was one of the best parts, was that he came back. He was alive, and he was all like, "Woo, we have all this alien information." Like everybody came back for it except for Will. Even Jeff Goldblum's dad.
Really?
Yeah, he looks about the same. He aged very well. He's still there. It's like speaking of his wisdom and complaining, and there was stuff with him was ridiculous. Like I wanted to like that movie, but it just didn't work without Will Smith. It really didn't. If he'd been in it, I think it would have been much better.
And that's like to bring it back to Maverick. Imagine them doing a Top Gun Maverick and Tom Cruise isn't in it.
No one would see that.
It's his son. Like it was his son, right?
I was thinking
the little kid. Wasn't the guy in Independence his son?
It was Will Smith's son, yeah.
So what if they did like that's the movie? Him trying to get out of his dad's shadow and be his own pilot.
That's so
imagine
generic.
See what I mean?
Boring.
Like, no. You want to, if you're bringing something back, you have to bring the stars of these people back.
I'm telling you, you start it, and he's like, hey, he's actually at a barbecue. And then they come down again. No! And again, every time I try to put it on here. Damn it. And see, didn't he not go into that because of Suicide Squad? Was that the conflict?
I think so, yeah.
Will.
And he was great in that. And that movie was
exactly. That movie didn't deserve him. So
he was great in that. That movie was
poop.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Terrible.
Well, we got all that from 21 Bridges.
See?
It is
sparked up. You needed diversity. It's still so there to say there's still room for original ideas, guys.
Please. Yeah.
We still as movie people would like something. Everything doesn't have to be a reboot, relaunch,
Oh,
continuation 30 years later.
honestly, I get sick of it. I'm a big Marvel fan, but
sequel, prequel.
I'm sick. I feel like I've been complaining about that for 10 years. It's worse than it's ever been.
Yeah.
The saturated market. Well, we're gonna feed into it though by
know.
talking about Marvel a little bit to round up here. All right. No trailers finally, but a little bit of news. Natalie Portman is coming back to a Thor movie, which surprised me because I thought she didn't like him or something. And she's going to be the new Thor, which follows up with the storyline recently in the comics where Thor became a woman, which very controversial for dumb reasons that are sexist and but also because people don't like change and where's
it's
Thor?
The world today.
It's today.
I did an uproar over a mermaid, so it doesn't surprise
all right,
me.
you know what? Side note, we got to talk about this. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you, actually, for bringing it up. Hold on for Thor for a second. All right, this is actually be the title of the podcast because like this, this is so stupid that like I forgot about it because I didn't even think it was like worth mentioning.
Yeah,
but like literally, I've been thinking about posting it or doing a blog. But you're right. The world we've come.
Speak your mind.
Really, like this. So many people are legitimately upset about the race of Ariel. Like what? She's not white. She's a fucking.
She's actually She's not human.
She's a mermaid.
Yeah, she's not human.
Who cares?
Humanoid. There's a difference.
She's humanoid. She's a fish woman.
Yeah.
Okay. I just was like, oh, I thought it was like every time I saw like this debate, I'm like, of all the things, even the stupid stuff we can talk about, why is this a conversation? Like as a society, first of all, I think we're but like, okay, loyalists, like, oh man, like it's integral to like what the setting of the story. No. And my girlfriend and I sometimes talk about this, like, okay, in certain stories, like maybe Frozen, it takes place in Norway or something. Okay, it's very unlikely at the time it's taking place. Certain people might not be there, but like, she's a mermaid.
Yeah.
She's a fictional thing.
From a fictional city of Atlantis.
Which, as far as we know, is mythical. Mythical. Yeah. Which it's a magical place. She's a fictional creation, a fictional creature, and she could be whatever. Like if anybody, that you could skip past any controversy of like of racial casting, it's like, why are we talking about this? Like,
it's
why?
Not based on anything.
But it's like, it's not. I don't think it's trolling. I think people
are really upset.
Because I guess Little Mermaid's a classic Disney film, and they don't want to touch. But like, why does it bother you so much? Like, what does it say about you? Like, are you really? I just think I thought it was ridiculous. Like a whole new level. Like,
terrible.
It's stupid. It's. I think it's stupid. Like I'm not even like I'm upset by the stupidity.
And how many times have there been accurate movies based on accurate historical figures that have not been cast
properly? Especially if you go back to the old days of Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So
Elizabeth Taylor is Cleopatra. Come on.
All right. Hardcore film geek confession. I've never seen Cleopatra.
Really?
I want to. I've heard it's a most expensive movie made of its time, right?
Yeah.
I've heard it's a good film, but clearly
I've only seen it once or twice.
But problematic for those reasons.
Yeah.
And I guess, whatever. It was.
But us now, we just deal with it because we know it's a sign of the times.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. You try to kind of like take that into account when looking about a movie's quality.
But like then you have like Gods of Egypt that came out like 2-3 years ago. That there's no excuse for that.
There was one. I think there was another Moses movie that came out. I remember, and they were all white people.
Yeah,
they were all white people in the middle of and I'm like, no.
In Egypt, in Africa,
unlikely. There's not a.
They didn't even have a tan.
No, I said that. I forget what movie that was too. I think, but the darkest person in that movie was the Pharaoh. Do you know who played him?
Ooh.
John Turturro.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
Italian, he's the darkest guy, got the Italian guy. So that was bad. It was the
Yeah.
Christian Bale one. It was so bad. But anyway, what Ari like
Yeah.
really? I don't get it.
It's
I
a
legit.
mythical, and then a lot of people have been, responding, rebuttaling these people in their anger rants that the original story that Disney adapted from, Ariel was green. She was green because she
Well,
was a fish person. She was green.
let's really be accurate here. Let's
Make her green.
Let's make her more of a fish.
Yeah.
Let's make her a fish one. We got like was that one that movie that came out about the fell in love with the fish man, Creature from the Black Lagoon. I already forgot what it was called. One Academy Award.
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. Yeah, let's go Shape of Water. Make her a fish woman.
Yeah.
Let's be really progressive. We already did that. So let's do that again. Stupid, very stupid, whole new level of stupid. Like some of the stuff, like really.
I just hope the young actress Halle Bailey, she who's very talented, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
She's also a singer. Her and her sister.
Okay.
I hope that she, doesn't let this break her down.
Deter her.
Yeah, deter. Like, go out there, kill it, do the best that you know you can do.
Just sing the songs well and try to act well, and you'll be fine. Like, who cares? Like, stupid.
Everyone has to find something to be outraged at nowadays.
But like that particular thing just seems so petty and
so
like a waste of time. I don't know. Anyway, Natalie Portman, has she been getting hate? I feel like I've already seen some hate about this.
I think so. Not too much, because there are people for continuity's sake, and I'm one of those people. If you're gonna do that, it's cool that they got her again because she was already Jane.
Yeah. Miss Foster.
Yeah, so that's cool. I guess, like we were saying earlier, maybe she didn't like the director of the original ones. And this is new. The director from Ragnarok is doing this one. So I assume if anything else has to do with Thor going forward, it's probably going to be him, because Ragnarok blew the other ones out the water.
It did. Soft reboot.
Yeah,
totally.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's getting another one, because usually the rest of them are trilogy and out.
Mm-hmm.
So except for Hulk, but Hulk is in that weird universal thing where they're
still holding on to his rights.
Yeah, so they can't really do it anyway.
I really think that's messed up. Like, just give Hulk. All right. I think Hulk's pretty popular. I think they've done a lot with this character. I mean, he's always been he's one of the big Marvel characters.
Yeah.
Do you think if they gave him a solo movie again, it would do well?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. Especially because he's one of the standouts in the Avengers movies now. People love him, even
as Professor Hulk.
Yeah, some people it took a little getting used to.
I liked it,
but I liked it. It was funny.
It was cool.
Yeah, even as Professor Hulk, I think people like it. I think that's probably why they made Ragnarok like that. It's kind of like as much as a
Hulk movie as you're gonna get, because it is Planet Hulk,
pretty much
half of it. So
so
it was kind
which
of
is a great story. I love that story.
Have you ever read the comic?
Yes.
Probably my favorite Hulk.
That might be my favorite Hulk story too.
Really, that's where his story should have ended, I think.
Yeah.
Which is why what happens at the end, you understand why it doesn't work out for some people.
Right.
But yeah, it's a really good story. I would love to have seen them actually do it fully, but that's the closest we might ever get.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it would work now. And I don't know. Maybe they've been in talks and it just hasn't worked out. Like with Sony and Spider-Man, even though I keep my fingers crossed, but Sony's going to screw this up. They're going to screw it up.
What do you mean?
Because I keep hearing rumors that they want
to take it back.
Yeah, they're not going to let him be in anymore, and they're just going to input him into this Venom verse that they're building. I don't think it's going to work. Even though it's funny to say, because Venom comes from Spider-Man, but the way that they set that up, it doesn't mesh with the MCU.
Those are tonally, they feel like two different universes.
Absolutely.
Which is the best part of the movie. Which is horrible. And that says something. I think that song perfectly encapsulates the movie. Wouldn't you agree? I'm gonna get him. I think so. Stupid. Oh man.
Yeah, I keep hearing that Sony is, but I don't understand. Like, you know that this is gonna make money. If you're Sony,
Just
Just sit back and just collect the checks.
collect a check. No, you don't have to put any effort into it. Don't have to make it. Just like if they Marvel Studios has so much faith put in them now that if it goes back to them completely, people won't go out to see it as much because
Right.
they want Marvel. They want the people on hand to do it themselves,
Right.
in house.
And funny you say that. I think that's why Dark Phoenix failed.
I still haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
I want to see it.
I heard that the movie well, actually, a couple people I heard said it was okay. It wasn't as bad as how people were saying it.
Yeah, I've heard it was a little overhated.
But I heard it wasn't great. However, in the past, we go to see it anyway. It's an X-Men movie.
Yeah, this was one we
and it's the end. It's supposed to be the end of the saga.
Like I do want to see it eventually because it is the end. But for even me, I was like Logan felt
Right.
like the end of the
That-
story,
yeah.
and I'm like, this feels like an afterthought or something. So I don't know. That's
But
a
I
good point.
think
Nobody saw it.
The news, of
Marvel
MCU, the Marvel taking it back.
already out of our minds.
Yeah, we don't care.
Wait, that universe isn't done yet.
I'll just wait till the MCU does. Yeah, we don't need.
Then
to
they
see.
do Dark Phoenix. It'll be even better.
Yeah, that's right.
That's 2 Dark Phoenix movies.
Yeah, interesting.
They've been trying to get it right, and I'm sure it's better, but
I always thought you have to. I don't know. Maybe that's why I didn't see it too, because you have to do a lot to accurately set that up.
Look, this is the thing. You saw the cartoon, right? The 90s?
Yeah.
Look, you've got to have the Shi'ar. You've got to have
and that's what I'm saying.
the aliens. You've got to have.
I'm more familiar with the cartoon than the comic Dark Phoenix saga. But think about
that's
the
where it
cartoon.
comes from.
How much buildup was there?
You've gotta introduce the Phoenix, and then you've got to have him go to space and fight the aliens,
like
the evil guy with the crystal, and then you got to come back, and then she gets repossessed. It's 2 separate movies. At least
it's so much you have to do. Did they even go in this? Well,
I think
before this movie, did they even go into space? See what I mean? Like it's a lot to cram, and even in the first one, in the first attempt, it's a lot to cram in one movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much. It's back to Game of Thrones. It's too much to cram into one season. Like it's a lot of buildup you have to do to accurately do that, and I think that's part of the reason why I wasn't too into it. And then I think it was the other, like, I'll just wait for Marvel to introduce
all the aliens
X-Men.
and all the crazy weird stuff like Mojo World.
And it's coming. With the
I'm ready. I'm ready for the blue spandex. I'm ready for the yellow Wolverine. I'm ready for the crazy, silly comic booky stuff. I'm ready for the X-Men. Well, I don't want to say that because the X-Men movies have mostly been pretty good. The dark, gritty, serious ones.
Right.
But I'm ready for the pop. I'm ready for the fun to begin. And don't get me wrong, you can still have. They got the formula. I think. Okay, there's of course going to be comparisons.
Gambit to be done. Right.
I'm ready for Gambit to be done. I'm just ready for all the stuff they didn't really do. People other than Magneto, Mr. Sinister. Finally, we never got to see him.
Right. At all.
They teased him, and we never got to see. We can see Mr. Sinister finally. So I think when Marvel gets a hold of it, there'll be comparisons. But
even though we know this is years down the line,
5 years from now.
Yeah, at least they'll start Fantastic Four stuff way before they start.
Oh yeah, because if they can make Fantastic Four great.
Oh yeah,
the X-Men, the hype will be.
Oh, it'll be through the roof.
People, when we talked, I think in one of our last podcasts about with the Avengers, this phase kind of being out of people's minds and taking a while before you can really recast someone like Iron Man. Mm-hmm. You know how much leverage they could get out of X-Men storylines before they even have to touch Avengers again. They could just be a universe of movies unto themselves.
But even think about now with Comic-Con, with this they released the whole Phase 4. There's not one Avengers movie in it.
Good.
There's not even you got the Black Widow movie.
Cool.
But for the most part, you don't even see an Avengers solo movie. You got Black Widow and Thor. I think that's it in terms of movies. Because you got Doctor Strange. He was sort of. If we're talking MCU, we know in comics is different, but MCU, he was sort of there, but not really.
Mhm.
And then you got Shang-Chi movie, which I'm most curious about because I don't know too much about him
Same.
in terms of comics and everything, but I do know that he's like supposedly the greatest fighter ever in the history of Marvel. Like every super awesome fighter that doesn't have powers, and some even do, he's trained them. So that's going to be, and I do like that they are realizing their mistake from Iron Man 3 and giving us a more accurate Mandarin.
Yes,
Yes.
thankfully.
I still argue with my buddy because he actually has Iron Man 3 pretty high
His list.
on his list of MCU movies. Higher than it. To me, it's near the bottom.
Are-
Dark World is the bottom. Iron Man 3 is maybe 2 above that. If I'm
What's in between there?
That's what I'm trying to think.
What's in between?
If it's not right above, it's.
I kind of like the Hulk movie. I think that one gets a
I
little much
know
hate.
it doesn't get that much because maybe people because Edward Norton and not Mark Ruffalo.
So it's like, oh, it's weird now.
Yeah,
But I thought the movie's pretty solid, actually.
it's actually pretty good.
I liked it. But that's a whole week. You don't have to answer
Yeah.
that right now. But I agree because, well, let me ask you. So is it because you really liked Ben Kingsley's Mandarin, but then you didn't?
Yeah,
Because I liked
I liked him as a as a villain. I liked him.
He was so threatening because
He
he was just a terrorist, and he was like you couldn't get like I was. He was so threatening, and
If
then
he was somebody else,
then he was a troll. And
as a villain, I liked him.
but then
I just the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm sitting in the theater. I'm like, he's menacing, yes, but this doesn't feel like the Mandarin.
no,
It doesn't.
but then
And then I'm like, okay, but at least he's villainy, like
At least
but then
he's-
it turns out that it's
it's
all a lie. Like, what is this? What is? And then my buddy always makes the point. Well, that's because he wasn't the real villain. But that doesn't matter. You can't use the Mandarin, who is Iron Man's one of his greatest
as a joke,
foes.
as a punchline.
Thank you.
It's because they were afraid to, like, I guess, be perceived as too racist or whatever with the Mandarin concept, Fu Manchu.
I guess
but
maybe that's.
But they made it more of a Middle Eastern terrorist type thing that was
Right.
worked for those films. And I remember for the trailer for Iron Man 3 with him as the opening narration, it was so cool.
It was.
But they subverted your expectations, which is always good, right?
Yeah. It's just in this case, it was for the worst.
I didn't like it. I would have if he was like just like another twist would have been fine, but like maybe if there was another Mandarin or something. But I liked him as a villain.
Or yeah, like maybe if he was really that evil guy,
There's
he
always
portrayed,
another head to the dragon.
It's just that
Like
he
Hydra.
wasn't the head. He worked for
The real
the
Mandarin.
real Mandarin.
And to be honest, I thought that the Mandarin was the Ten Rings guy from the first movie.
Right.
He was basically that
Right.
Order of the Ten Rings.
That's true. Because that is it, yeah. But we're gonna
Wow.
tangent, but to say that the MCU, they're like you said, they're to the point now. Whatever they do, people are in. They introduced the next 4 years, the next 2 to 3 years of their plan, and they said they had up to 5 years planned, but they just announced the first 2-3 years, and there's not one Avengers movie, and people are just as excited. That shows you how crazy it is and is going to get.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I keep thinking, when are they going to run out of steam? But like
That's what I'm thinking too.
They're just
As they build steam, they're gonna keep going. Like now with just getting Fantastic Four and X-Men, you just
And to be honest, the thing is, I can't say I'm tired of that because I haven't seen them do
right. I
those
haven't
yet.
seen their version. We've suffered through the previous Fantastic Fours and went through the roller coaster of the previous X-Men's. We
Want some consistency.
Yeah, we are anxious to know because that's always in the back of our mind. Like if Marvel had it, it wouldn't be this.
And maybe we'll be wrong. But how could they?
It could be.
How could they sink any lower than Fan Four Stick?
No, there's no way they can be worse than that. No way. No way.
You know what I think is actually better than that? Is the Roger Corman like 94 bootleg unmade one. Because you want to know something? As cheesy and low budget as that was, it felt more like a Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Dr. Doom was actually kind of right in it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, final bit of news. Marshall Ali
Yeah,
is Blade.
yeah, and that seems to be the talk aside from the general talk, but that's one of the standouts of the Marvel talk. And it was just an announcement. They didn't announce when he was coming. They don't even know. I don't even know. They may know, but we don't even know.
Show, movie, series, Disney Plus.
I think it's a movie, and now I'm getting. I think this is just speculation, but I'm hearing or reading that some people are thinking that it's not going to be canon, like it's not going to be in the MCU.
Oh, could it be like a Netflix sort of thing? Like it's not. You're right. It's an original Marvel movie, not
not in the MCU,
which I'm fine with.
which should still be fine.
Maybe
But-
maybe if they want to be tonally different, like how Blade was very dark, vampires.
Right.
I mean,
But I think at this point they can play with genres too now, because look at how funny you got comedy of Ragnarok. You got like a geopolitical drama in Black Panther. You got supposedly the next Doctor Strange is their foray into horror and thriller.
oh,
That's what they said. That Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
huh?
So that's
the real title?
That's the real title.
Oh wow.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And Nightmare is going to be the villain. So we know that the multiverse is real, even though, spoilers, even though Mysterio lied.
What? Mysterio lied?
Mysterio lied.
In a what?
Mysterio is actually a villain, guys.
He's not that Mysterio. What?
I know you like Jake Gyllenhaal. I do too. But he's a villain, guys. You know.
By the way, great movie.
That was awesome.
Oh, it was really good.
That was I was going to ask you this. Best end credit scenes. Where do you rank it?
Oh man, you know,
to me that I think it's the best.
I think that was the best because Jameson came back, first of all.
Yeah.
And also, not only they're doing two things because they're doing the two storylines that they have not done yet in the movies that were classic tropes in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man, framed for murder, and his identity's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So next movie, double whammy. Whoa!
And that's just in the first, and in the second one,
It's
you're
like-
talking. It's simple. That's why it's brilliant. What actually happened is simple.
Mhm.
You just see Fury, and he's coming out, but then as you see him walking, it's like, is that sword? Holy crap! They just opened this whole thing up.
And then we're talking about Sword. We're talking about Miss Marvel stuff. We're talking about the X-Men. And to be honest, since these other movies that Fox did have gone over the whole mutant civil rights thing, what's the other thing that X-Men have been doing for the last 20 years? Honestly, they are in space fighting aliens and weird stuff. That the X-Men are the space defense force.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
They really are.
That's why I say it's right up there. I mean, Infinity War was pretty good. The Captain Marvel one, because I like after credit scenes that set up the next movie or set up where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those did exactly that.
It's like you got one for this movie directly, like a direct one just for the next Spider-Man movie,
Right.
which is cool. And then for the rest of them,
this is where we're going. And some of them, it's cool that they're just funny.
But you like the ones that have a little substance.
I like the ones that give me a little. I'm sitting here for the next, and there's a lot of credits because there's a lot that goes into this movie.
Not all the end credit scenes are made equally. They usually try to give you the more important one in the middle now.
Yeah,
and like some of them were funny. I think I liked the one with Captain America when he's like, "What are you still doing here?"
Oh yeah,
that
was after Homecoming the one where he's doing the lessons in patience. Sometimes things don't work out. You wait, and it's not what you hope for.
He's doing what do you call those? What are those?
PSA?
The PSAs, yeah. Which was great.
I get it. I get the joke.
That was a good joke. So some of those were pretty good. Was Shawarma the best one?
That was good too.
Shawarma.
Just because it's like a human moment.
Yeah.
After we just saw all this crazy
We're
stuff.
We're still eating lunch.
Yeah.
A bunch of superheroes. Yeah.
Just sitting there eating.
It was great for Avengers. Well,
I'm excited for Blade. I think it's a perfect casting. Mahershala Ali is great.
if they decide to bring him into the main universe, I think they should differentiate him from Snipes' Blade
Yeah,
and do the '90s Blade, the '80s '90s Blade, where he's got the motorcycle and the big shoulder pads and spikes,
yeah.
and he's got like the little mohawk thing. They should have fun with it
I think so.
if they do that.
And this is what I say is perfect because a lot of times when they say, even if it's rumored, I sit back and I think, and I'm like, can I picture them? Like you told me, Taron Egerton,
Chris,
rumored to be
Taron Egerton is
rumored to be Wolverine.
um
I had to sit back and ponder. And then you sit back, can you see him? I mean, I guess you can. His acting ability is there,
he's a good actor.
and he's more accurate to
The
actual
size of Wolverine
yeah.
would be. He just doesn't seem gruff enough. But then with makeup, I don't know.
I think they could. I think he could do it.
Yeah, I think they could. I guess Hugh Jackman was probably in his early 30s, mid 30s when he started,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, but with this one, as soon as I saw him as Blade, and I'm like, wow, that is really good.
Put some sunglasses on. He's
Yeah,
Blade.
pretty
much.
It's really good. So I'm excited. I hopefully, but realistically, where would he line up? Because if they make him in the MCU, that means he would be in other movies. I don't know tonally, like we said. I don't know how that would match up.
Tonally, that might not work because Blade is kind of like the Punisher.
Yeah.
He's off on his own. He kills people, mostly vampires, but he's like an R-rated character.
Right.
So I don't know if he should be separate.
You just brought up an idea.
Okay.
What if they do a separate R-rated MCU? Him, Punisher,
Ooh.
Deadpool.
Ooh.
Now, tonally, they're a little different. However, they're in the same R rating, so they could, intertwine, so to speak.
They could have what do you call it? Like a Marvel Knights sort of thing.
Yeah, something like
kind of like with the Netflix shows, but on big screen.
Yeah.
Maybe. I could see them maybe doubling up with a couple characters.
And that's just me talking. They haven't mentioned anything about Punisher. They haven't even mentioned anything about Deadpool, honestly. But they have the rights now.
Deadpool's up in the air. I'm sure they'll try to keep pretty close though if they can.
Yeah,
that'll be cool. I'm sure Ryan Reynolds will do more. He'll work for whoever.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, we certainly got through a lot of news.
Oh, hey, yeah.
A lot of reactions to things.
Because it's Comic-Con. Comic-Con is one of the ones, where you drop a lot.
We did. And, it was kind of a dry spell there for a bit. So I figured, hey,
have a lot to talk about.
Have a lot to talk about. Well, yeah, for movies this summer, I'm pretty much done. There's probably some good stuff coming out in the Academy season maybe to talk about. I'm kind of interested in that Mr. Rogers movie, Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah.
Actually looks like it'll be pretty good.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too. I saw that trailer. So that's good. But yeah, for me, the only movie that I'm interested in for the rest of the summer is probably the new Tarantino. Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only other thing on my radar.
Oh, Guilty Pleasure.
Uh-oh.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to see it.
All right. Well, if you do, let me know. I'm not a huge Fast and Furious guy, but that one does look funny.
Yeah.
I do like those two together.
Yeah.
So
I like their dynamic.
So, yeah, that might be good. But, yeah, if you see that, let me know. And if we hear some more news related to this stuff, developments, or just want to talk about something similar, we'll do another cast.
Yeah.
Next one I'm doing will actually be my 100th podcast.
Whoa.
So I'm thinking about what I'm going to do for that. I'm not sure yet. So maybe afterwards there might be a new segment with a different podcast. We'll see. But in any case, I'm going to end this little recording. So feel free to say farewell to the watchers or listeners at home.
Hey, you guys. See you later.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Stay magical. And I shall now end it.